Welcome to Wednesday. It's the 9th day of February, 2022. Welcome to the Day Weather Podcast, brought to you by Chugwater Chili, the gourmet spice of Western life. Don't forget your checkout code ChugwaterDon for 20% off. Grab yourself some Chugwater Chili green seasoning. Never been easier to make green chili. Thanks to Chugwater Chili, they've put together a great green chili seasoning mix. Go to chugwaterchili.com and order some today. Well, it's all about clippers. Another clipper system is going to be passing through later today and tonight. It's not much of a system, but for you folks in eastern Montana, northeastern and eastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, western South Dakota, you're going to see a few snow showers or flurries later today and tonight, along with some cooler temperatures. But then we have a break in the weather tomorrow. We've got this next clipper coming in Friday into early Saturday. Now that's going to bring a better chance of snow to the mountains, a few snow showers in the plains, and make Friday into early Saturday colder. But it's an Alberta clipper, so it's in and out fairly quickly. And then we're going to go back to a fair weather pattern. Not much happening Saturday through Sunday and into Monday. So a pretty decent weekend for the most part coming our way. We're watching a possible storm system for late Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We've been talking about a weather pattern change arriving next week, kind of a significant large-scale northern hemispheric change in the way the jet stream's behaving. That is looking more and more likely beginning towards the middle of next week, and we'll take a look at that for you. Today's weather chart shows the next clipper. You can barely see it. It's just a small little kink right here, but there's some moisture and instability with the system, and you see this little kink right here. Again, it's not much, but that's the next little clipper that's going to come on down late Friday into Saturday. As these systems come up and down over the high pressure ridge and along the jet stream is when they produce a little bit of weather. But there will be more weather out here with these clipper systems. They tend to be a really good snowmaker for the northern Great Lakes up into the parts of New England as well as they move on through. You can see that high pressure remains anchored, keeping the west coast protected and dry. And this will likely be the case into early next week in that area as well. But as this little wave goes through, this is what will happen later today through tomorrow morning. You can see nothing to write home about. But there's going to be a little shot of snow today and tonight in the Black Hills, the Bighorns, the Yellowstone Plateau, the mountain areas. And then as you get on the plains here, there might be a little bit of scattered snow shower flurry activity. Nothing to write home about. Here's the second clipper system arriving. It's going to arrive Friday morning through early afternoon, taking the exact same path. You just see how the pattern repeats? Basically, it's the same little pattern going on through with that high pressure along the west coast. And this is the end result. You can see there's a bit more snow with this system. Again, nothing real significant. But there's a better chance for snow on the plains in the form of snow showers and a bit more up into the higher elevations of the mountains of Wyoming, the Black Hills, and into the northern mountains of Colorado. So there might be a little bit of fresh snow on the ski slopes for you by Saturday morning, but not a lot. Now let's go take a look at the changes that are coming. This is for Sunday night into Monday. We have a stronger upper level low coming into British Columbia. Notice high pressure now. I'm going to draw the H further westward out into the Pacific. And we're confident that this westward transition of that high pressure ridge drifting more westward is going to take place. So what will happen is, as that goes westward and this low comes this way, now the low is going to come into the Great Basin. All the lows over the last 5 weeks have mainly been doing this, coming onto Western Canada, then taking a course into the Great Lakes in the east. That's why it's been so stormy and so wintry on the eastern side of the nation. But this is a fundamental change from where we've been over the last 5 weeks. So what's going to happen is this is going to instigate the development of a deeper trough by the middle of next week into the western United States, while this trough here is replaced by high pressure. And a lot of these changes are going on. We can make some connection of what's going on out in the Pacific. These are sea surface temperatures for this past Sunday, and you can see the sea surface temperature anomaly of the colder than normal temperatures right along the equator there. This is the La Nina region with the coldest waters now more centered on the eastern side of, this is called the El Nino 1 and 2 zone of where we track these things. This is the 3 and 4 zone. And what will happen here is, notice it's colder here in the east and it's not as cold. We'll just make this W. It's a little bit warmer on the western side. This is critical because when you start to look at the heat content of the oceans, we're starting to see some erosion of the colder waters here. Slow, but it's there. This is important. This area right here, when it starts to warm up here a little bit, we start to see our weather pattern slowly change in response to that. And take a look at this. This measures the heat content of that area I just showed you. The blue, as you would expect, means that the heat content, the energy stored in those sea surface temperatures between 100 degrees west and 180 longitude west along that area near the equator. The orange represents when it's a little bit warmer. The blue represents when it's colder. Notice what happened a year ago at this time. We started to see sea surface temperatures go back up in late February and early March. And you guys remember the big snowstorm last March? Now, I'm not saying it's a repeat, but notice what happened this summer as we went back into La Nina. The heat content dropped and stayed very low, but there's been a recent trend for that heat content to now increase. And this is mainly because of right here, where we're starting to see the erosion, the weakening. Now, we could see this reverse and start to get strong again, but right now it's weakening a bit and the heat content's going up. That heat content going up a little bit is likely going to make the Pacific now a little bit more active and more further south in the Pacific, which is going to help us out. And here we go. I'm going to step you through several different model solutions to kind of show you what I'm looking at, to kind of explain why I'm going to be a bit vague on what's going to happen towards the middle of next week. What will happen is this weather pattern change. I'm going to show you the European model, the Canadian model, the American model, and the Japanese model for Tuesday afternoon and evening. This is the European model. It's got the high pressure ridge building in the Eastern Pacific, but look at the low, headed towards the four corners. We haven't had a four corner system in a while, and this is a big departure from where we've been. Notice in response to the low forming here, you have the low coming in. And this is how it works across the globe. You have a low, a high, a low, a high. And so you get these alternating patterns back and forth. If the general trend now is for the low pressure to be more into the west, this will mean a warm up in the east. And what will happen is the weather will get more busy. So this is a pretty impressive storm here on the Piran model, because what you tend to get in these situations is you get the upslope as the counterclockwise spin around the low begins to take shape, instead of these clipper systems going this way and basically just sideswiping us. So this is a big departure. So the European model, the Canadian model has got a deeper low, but it's more down towards Las Vegas. When we take a look at the American model, well, more down towards Las Vegas again, but you can see that the structure is a little different. And then here's the Japanese model. It's got a pretty good low, but it's not as deep far south. It's more towards southwestern areas of Utah. So when we compare these, notice they're not exactly the same, but the structure of the atmosphere is really similar when we put it all together. So this is going to lead to a fairly high confidence level that we are indeed going to have some winter weather return to the Rockies by late Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. But the devil will be in the details, because each of these solutions I'm showing you, each one of these could be right, each one of these could be wrong. It could be a combination of all those solutions. And this is really important on the exact placement. A more southern placement like the American model means more weather down here, less weather here. If we take a look at the Japanese model, then you're looking at a Colorado Front Range, Wyoming storm instead of one that's further south. We can't tell you which solution is going to work out just this yet, but we're going to keep an eye on it for you. And if we were to look at the Canadian solution for precipitation, you can see that over the next 10 days, areas that have had little or no precipitation here lately are going to get right back into the act again, with this pattern getting a little bit more busy, and that's what the snowfall forecast looks like. So all eyes really on next week. Have yourself a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.